This video is all about my experience in real estate wholesaling, and I'll give you my advice and my opinion on whether you should get started or not. Let's talk about it. Now, I started my journey in real estate wholesaling towards the end of 2021. At the beginning of 2022, me and Ed got involved in real estate wholesaling, and at this time, it was not the best time to get started, but it was a great experience nonetheless. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to make this video, because I kind of want to share my experience and why I felt like we weren't successful, or why we didn't achieve the success that we were hoping for in real estate wholesaling. Now, this is not to say that real estate wholesaling is bad. I still think that it's a great way to make some money, but it's not as easy as these other people on YouTube may be talking about, because this, for a fact, this is one of the reasons why we decided to get involved in real estate wholesaling, because during the process, of course, before getting started, we went through the initial stages of research. We were looking at a bunch of YouTube videos. We got a bunch of ads on TikTok talking about how real estate wholesaling could be a potential way, a great way of making some money. And of course, we saw the stereotypical videos where you just have to make a couple of phone calls or maybe drive around the community looking for properties, make the calls to the homeowners, tell them that you're going to buy the property, sell off the contract, and yada yada yada. You'd make a couple thousands of dollars, tens, $20,000, $30,000 within a weekend. Now, if you have no idea what real estate wholesaling is, or you're just getting started and are unfamiliar with it, I can make a separate video talking about the intricacies and the actual full-on breakdown of real estate wholesaling. But to give you a quick recap and a quick explanation of what it is, you're basically buying a property, or you're telling a homeowner that you're going to buy the property for pennies on the dollar, way below market value. You put the property under contract, where the contract says that you're going to be buying the property, or you're going to be assigning the contract to another buyer. And then that way, once you get the contract, you then find a buyer that's actually going to buy the property. You sell the contract to that person for a markup. They pay the money, you make the markup, everyone's happy. And it's a win-win situation for everyone involved. A very quick example is, let's say there's a homeowner called Bob. Bob's house is actually at market value. It's around $200,000, but it needs some work. So I come in and I tell Bob that I'm going to be buying the property for $100,000. I tell him that because it's going to need some work, I need to put money in to fix it up and get it market ready. Bob says, okay, fine, I'll sell you the property for $100,000. Perfect. I get the contract, and within the contract, I said that I'm going to be buying the property for $100,000. Bob signs the contract, and then I go around and I find an actual buyer that actually wants the property. I tell the buyer that I'm going to be selling the contract to them for $120,000. Now remember, the value of the property at market value is around $200,000. So the buyer says, perfect, this is phenomenal, it's a great deal. It's still $80,000 less than what the market value has. They still have enough room to put money into the fixes and the repairs. And then I'm happy because I'm going to be making $20,000 off that contract sale. And then Bob is happy because he's going to be getting the $100,000 that he originally wanted. Once the deal closes, everyone gets what they wanted and everyone's happy. So this is a very basic and simplified version of what real estate wholesaling is. But this is, for the most part, just a quick rundown, bird's eye view of what it's all about. And yeah, Ed and I saw this as a great opportunity, and we decided to get involved. And with the stereotypical methods of lead generation, like driving for dollars and cold calling. Now, again, there's a lot of ways on how to generate deals and how to get those contracts and selling them off to make money. But at the end of the day, what's most important in real estate wholesaling is finding homeowners that are willing to sell the property for much lower than what the market value is. And that is the hard part. You're going to be speaking with a lot of homeowners. You're going to be speaking with a lot of people that may be interested in selling their house, but very small percentage of those people are going to be willing to sell their property for much lower than what the market value goes for. And the reason why these people would be interested in selling their property for much cheaper than what the market value goes for is because this is what real estate wholesalers call distressed properties or motivated sellers. Now, this is a great opportunity for real estate wholesalers to jump in, present them a solution, and this is basically kind of goes into the whole idea of business is just problem solving. Wholesalers come in, solve the problem that the homeowners have because they're going to be getting the money and getting out of that situation that they may be in. And it's a great way to make some money. And the reality is that as a wholesaler, you're going to be going through the list and calling a bunch of homeowners and trying to find someone that meets this criteria, that they own a distressed property and that they are a motivated seller. This is something that we had to kind of go through, especially during this time of towards the end of 2021 and the beginning of 2022, where we essentially, when we had a phone call with a homeowner, they would tell us, why am I going to be selling my property for much lower than what I can get on the market? Now, if you were not involved in real estate during this time of towards the end of 2021 and the beginning of 2022, this was a time when the market value of the properties were skyrocketing. This was a time when people were buying houses above asking price. Now, it's a very different situation than today's market, but at the time, if a person put their property on the market for $100,000, they were more likely than not selling their property well above $100,000 because it was so competitive. Now imagine us as real estate wholesalers, where the ideal situation for us was getting a property under contract for well below the market value. Imagine how that went for us. Almost every single phone call that we had with homeowners, even if the property was in shambles, they knew that they could put their property on the market and still get within asking price. So this is something that we had to compete with, and it was something that we really did not expect because honestly, we were not well versed in the real estate market. We kind of just fell into the hype of real estate wholesaling. And yes, again, you can make some serious money in real estate wholesaling, but it's all about timing. And this is one of the issues that we came across. We ended up buying into a bunch of the different systems. We set up cold calling systems, like we were using call tools. We bought a bunch of phone numbers for cold calling. We were going to buy, I forgot what the app is called, but we were going to be doing driving for dollars. And at the end of the day, we were putting in close to 3 or 4K a month just in our marketing budget. Now, this is something that I do not recommend. If you are getting started within any business, you want to get as simple as possible and get an MVP rolling, especially if you don't have those funds to really commit to the project. You kind of want to get into the routine of getting things going, generating leads with a small budget. And then once you see a method that works, then you can start amplifying that method with some marketing dollars. But going back to what we were talking about, the reason why we decided that it was reasonable for us to put money into the business, and especially the marketing budget, was because we knew that in order for us to generate one yes, we needed to go through a lot of no's, and we wanted to go through those no's as quickly as possible. So we wanted to leverage not only the money and the resources that we had, but we needed to leverage the time of other people in order to really get those calls rolling on a consistent basis. So what we ended up doing is that, yes, we ended up spending money on the software, and of course we ended up spending money on some VAs that can make those phone calls for us. All in all, like I said, it came out to be around $3,000 to $4,000 a month. And man, we blew through that money super quick. And yeah, we did end up getting a lot of phone calls with people who are interested in selling their property. But again, the market was not helping us in this situation. Those phone calls that we had with homeowners that were interested in selling their property, they were not interested in hearing our offer. Now, again, today's market is very different. There's properties on the market right now that spend a lot of time on the market, and most likely than not, they're selling the property for under asking price. And this whole market shift actually played a role in us deciding to leave real estate wholesaling, because once we saw the reality of the situation, that the timing was not right, we knew that the market was not helping us, was not doing us any favors, we decided to shift our focus into different businesses. Now, a quick breakdown of my opinions on real estate wholesaling. I still think that real estate wholesaling is a great avenue. It's a great business vehicle. If you want to get involved, it'll provide you with a lot of networking, a lot of connections into the real estate space. And it's a great starting point where you can then take that and focus into a lot of other avenues in real estate investing. One of the big things about real estate investments, whether it's wholesaling, fix and flips, Airbnb, or buy and hold rental properties to build up a rental portfolio, one of the biggest things in that is that you want to find deals that are way cheaper than if you were to find properties on market. And a lot of the best investors in real estate are experts, or they have teams that are experts in finding properties that are amazing deals, that they're able to buy the property for way less than market price. And this is something that a lot of real estate wholesalers need to learn how to do. Because remember, in order to get that contract, in order to get that end deal, you first need to go through the steps of finding the leads, finding the deals, and more importantly, finding the leads of people who are willing to sell a property for much cheaper than what's actually worth. This makes the pool of leads very small. And so the strategies that you need to do, the lists of people that you need to call, all these different strategies that play a role in finding these leads needs to be very eloquently done in order to be successful as a wholesaler. So yes, you could go through a bunch of lists, making a bunch of phone calls, driving for dollars to find distressed properties around in your local area. But the reality is that you're most likely going to be spending a lot of time making phone calls, sending out emails, sending out postcards, sending out letters, whatever you're deciding to do. You're going to be spending a lot of time doing that stuff. And more likely than not, it's going to come up with a lot of dead leads. So that's why, again, we decided to spend a lot of money, because we wanted to go through all those no's as quickly as possible to find that yes. And even when you do get that yes, then you have to go through that other hurdle of finding the buyer, the right buyer for that contract. Again, I still think that real estate wholesaling is a great option for a lot of people, but it's not going to be the best option for the majority of people, considering how a lot of the hype in real estate wholesaling comes from the idea of making those big checks. And yes, it does require a lot of savviness when it comes to sales, and even more savviness when it comes to marketing. And if you are looking into real estate wholesaling, you really want to do your research on the different strategies available to you and see if you can find different ways on how to get through those strategies as quickly as possible. All in all, I enjoyed my time in real estate wholesaling. I definitely learned an immense amount of information when it comes to marketing, systems, and just the overall investing process when it comes to real estate. I definitely talked to a lot of great real estate investors, and I networked with a lot of great people. Whether you are successful or not in real estate wholesaling, it's going to lead to the same results. You're going to be meeting a lot of great people, which then can help you out with basically any kind of business that you want to do. And you're going to be learning a lot of information, not only about the business, about marketing, but also by yourself. And you're going to be seeing different things that you personally need to improve on in order to become successful. Maybe not in real estate wholesaling, but in other businesses as well. So if you want to give it a shot, I encourage you to do so. Just make sure that you understand the realities of real estate wholesaling and in general, the realities of business. That is not as easy as people make it out to seem on social media. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and got some valuable info out of it. Subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later.